it's easy to take gratitude for granted in our fast-paced, modern world. We often save it for fleeting moments, a kind word, a lucky break, or a special occasion. But the Stoic philosophers saw gratitude differently. For them, it wasn't an afterthought. It wasn't something dependent on circumstance. Gratitude was a disciplined practice, a way of life, and a cornerstone of wisdom. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to think, to enjoy, to love." This wasn't just poetic sentiment. It was a profound reminder that gratitude isn't passive, it's active, it's intentional, and it's central to building the kind of enduring inner peace that Stoicism is all about. In this video, we're diving deep into why the Stoics placed such importance on practicing gratitude and exploring how embracing this mindset can transform not only the way we think, but also the way we live today. What does it mean to truly value what you already have? In today's world, it's so easy to get caught up in striving for more success, more possessions, more recognition. But the Stoics believed that true contentment doesn't come from chasing things outside of us. Instead, it comes from shifting our focus inward and appreciating what is already within our grasp. For the Stoics, this wasn't just a feel-good idea. It was a deliberate practice rooted in their core philosophy. Focus on what you can control and let go of what you cannot. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic teachers, emphasized this idea when he said, "He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has." Gratitude, in the Stoic sense, isn't dependent on life going perfectly or circumstances bending to your will. It's about training your mind to recognize the value in what you already possess, whether that's your health, your relationships, or even your ability to think and make choices. Epictetus saw gratitude not as a fleeting emotion that comes and goes, but as a mental orientation, a way of seeing the world with clarity and perspective. Central to this mindset is the distinction between what is within your control and what is not. According to the Stoics, only your thoughts, actions, and choices fall under your control. Everything else, what people think of you, material wealth, external successes, exists beyond your influence. Aligning gratitude with this framework is liberating. It means you stop tethering your happiness to things you have no power over, things that can be taken away or altered by chance. Instead, you focus on what remains unshakable, your ability to think, to act virtuously, and to find meaning in your daily experiences. Imagine, for example, losing a job. It's natural to feel despair or frustration, but a Stoic approach would encourage you to look at what remains under your control. You still have your skills, your resilience, and your ability to take action. By focusing on these elements and being grateful for them, you can move forward with a sense of purpose rather than feeling paralyzed by what's been lost. This shift in perspective doesn't deny the reality of hardship, it transforms how you respond to it. The beauty of this mindset is that it creates a sense of inner stability. When you stop tying your gratitude to external outcomes, you remove a major source of anxiety and dissatisfaction. Think about it: how often do we place conditions on our happiness? I'll be grateful when I get that promotion, or I'll feel content once I have enough money saved. But these goals often leave us chasing an endless horizon, always looking to the future for fulfillment instead of appreciating what is already present. Gratitude anchored in what you control brings you back to the present moment. It helps you recognize that no matter how turbulent life gets, there are always things within you that can't be taken away: your capacity for kindness, your ability to learn, and your choice to act with integrity. These are treasures that don't depend on external circumstances, and by valuing them, you cultivate a sense of peace that no storm can shake. So, as you reflect on this idea, consider this: What aspects of your life do you control that you often overlook? Are there qualities, abilities, or opportunities you take for granted simply because they feel ordinary? The Stoics remind us that even the simplest things, a breath of fresh air, a moment of reflection, a kind gesture, are worthy of gratitude when we learn to see them clearly. And when we focus on these controllable elements with a grateful heart, we not only find peace but also unlock the resilience we need to face life's challenges. Have you ever noticed how much of our suffering comes not from the situations we face, but from our resistance to them? We often wish things were different, healthier relationships, more wealth, fewer challenges. But this resistance, the constant yearning for what isn't, often magnifies our pain. Stoicism teaches us that true peace comes not from fighting reality, but from accepting it. And a powerful way to practice this acceptance is through gratitude. The Stoics believed in living in accordance with nature, a concept that means aligning ourselves with the natural flow of life. Life, they argued, is full of change, impermanence, and events beyond our control. Resisting these truths is like standing in the middle of a rushing stream, trying to push against the current. The more we fight, the more exhausted and defeated we feel. But when we practice gratitude, we stop fighting. We learn to work with the current instead of against it. Marcus Aurelius captured this beautifully when he wrote, "Accept whatever comes to you woven in the pattern of your destiny for what could more aptly fit your needs." This isn't a call to passive resignation, but rather a reminder that everything in the present moment, both the joys and the struggles, is an opportunity to grow, to learn, and to live in harmony with life as it unfolds. Gratitude, then, isn't just about appreciating the good moments. It's about accepting all moments as they are without wishing they were something else. Let's think about this in practical terms. Imagine you're stuck in traffic. It's frustrating, you're late for an appointment, and every inch forward feels like a struggle. A common reaction would be to stew in anger and wish you were anywhere but there. But this resistance does nothing to change the fact that you're still in traffic. A Stoic approach rooted in gratitude would invite you to shift your perspective. Instead of focusing on the inconvenience, you might reflect on what you can appreciate in that moment. Perhaps the opportunity to listen to music, a podcast, or even the simple fact that you have a car to drive at all. By embracing the situation as it is, you free yourself from unnecessary suffering. This practice of gratitude as acceptance is especially powerful when life throws us challenges that can't be undone. Think of losing a job, facing an illness, or enduring a breakup. While it's natural to feel sadness or frustration, clinging to the idea that this shouldn't have happened only deepens our pain. Instead, the Stoic way is to practice gratitude for what the experience can teach us, or for the parts of our lives that remain intact despite the hardship. This doesn't mean minimizing the difficulty, but rather choosing to see the whole picture, not just what's lacking, but also what still exists. When we embrace the present moment with gratitude, something remarkable happens. We stop wasting energy on wishing for a different reality and start engaging with the one we have. This doesn't mean we can't work toward change or improvement. It just means that our energy comes from a place of calm acceptance rather than restless dissatisfaction. For the Stoics, this shift was central to living a virtuous and fulfilling life. So, ask yourself this: what would change if you chose to embrace your current reality instead of resisting it? How might you find gratitude even in moments that feel less than ideal? When we adopt this perspective, we see that gratitude isn't just about counting blessings. It's about saying yes to life as it is, finding value in both the light and the shadow, and realizing that every moment, no matter how imperfect, has something to offer if we're open to it. Imagine this: you've just encountered a major setback, a failed project, a financial loss, or perhaps even a personal betrayal. In that moment, the natural reaction is frustration, disappointment, maybe even self-pity. And yet, if we turn to the Stoic perspective, there's an alternative path forward, one that doesn't deny the difficulty but reframes it entirely. Gratitude, surprisingly, can become one of the most powerful tools for resilience, allowing us to not just endure hardships but to transform them into stepping stones for growth. The Stoics held a remarkable view of adversity. They believed that challenges weren't obstacles to be avoided but teachers to be embraced. Adversity, in their eyes, was not an unfortunate detour on the path of life. It was the path. Seneca, one of the most influential Stoic thinkers, wrote, "Difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body." These words highlight a Stoic truth. Facing hardship is how we become stronger, wiser, and more capable. Gratitude plays a key role in this process by shifting our mindset from "Why is this happening to me?" to "What can I learn from this? Let's break this down." When we're stuck in the middle of adversity, it's easy to focus solely on what's been taken away: our comfort, our plans, or even our sense of stability. But gratitude invites us to look deeper. It challenges us to ask, what does this situation have to offer me? Perhaps a failure offers the chance to build resilience. Perhaps a betrayal teaches us the importance of setting boundaries. Or perhaps a loss helps us appreciate the relationships and opportunities we still have. In this way, gratitude becomes an active practice of uncovering hidden value, even in the most painful experiences. Consider a relatable example. Imagine you're passed over for a promotion at work. At first, the disappointment feels overwhelming. After all, you put in the effort, you felt deserving, and now you're left wondering where you went wrong. But by approaching the situation with gratitude, you may notice the opportunities embedded within the setback. Maybe you'll use this as motivation to improve your skills, to seek a new role that aligns better with your values, or to reassess what success truly means to you. In reframing the disappointment, you build resilience, not by ignoring the pain but by choosing to grow through it. The Stoics believed that adversity, when viewed correctly, is a mirror reflecting our inner strength. Epictetus suggested that life's hardships are like tests designed to reveal what we're truly capable of. When we practice gratitude in the face of difficulty, we don't just survive the test, we deepen our understanding of ourselves. Gratitude transforms challenges from something happening to us into something happening for us. It empowers us to see each hardship as an invitation to cultivate patience, courage, wisdom, or perseverance. This shift in mindset is not about pretending that hardship feels good or denying the reality of suffering. Instead, it's about anchoring ourselves in a broader perspective, one that sees adversity as an essential part of the human experience. And within that experience, gratitude becomes a guiding light, helping us navigate the darkest moments with clarity and purpose. So the next time you encounter a challenge, ask yourself, what might this experience be teaching me? What strengths can I develop through this struggle? And even if the answers aren't immediately clear, trust in the Stoic principle that every difficulty contains the seed of growth. By practicing gratitude in these moments, you can transform life's setbacks into a kind of training ground for resilience, preparing you to face the future not with fear, but with quiet, unshakable strength. Can you find joy even when things don't go as planned? It's not always easy, is it? Most of us tie our happiness to outcomes: a successful project, a specific achievement, or reaching a personal milestone. And when reality falls short of our expectations, disappointment quickly follows. But Stoicism teaches us something radically freeing: the idea that true contentment doesn't come from what we achieve, but from how we approach the journey. Gratitude, in this sense, becomes a practice of appreciating the effort, the process, and the growth, rather than attaching ourselves to the results. Epictetus summed up this idea perfectly when he said, Make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens. This quote reflects one of the central teachings of Stoicism. Focus on what you can control, your actions, your mindset, your intentions, and release the need to control what you cannot, like the eventual outcome. Gratitude, when paired with this philosophy, becomes a tool for detachment. It allows us to find peace and even joy in the journey itself, regardless of where it leads. Let's consider a real-life example of this. Imagine you've been training for months to run a marathon. You've put in the hours, endured the sore muscles, and sacrificed your weekends to prepare. But on race day, it rains heavily, and despite your best efforts, you don't finish with the time you had hoped for. A conventional mindset might focus solely on the disappointment. I failed to hit my goal. But a Stoic mindset, grounded in gratitude, would take a very different approach. Instead of measuring success by the final result, you'd focus on the effort you invested and the growth you experienced along the way. You might feel grateful for the discipline you developed, the strength you built, and the fact that you even had the opportunity to take on such a challenge. Suddenly, the outcome, the final time on the clock, becomes far less important than the process itself. This kind of detachment from external outcomes doesn't mean you stop caring about goals or stop striving for excellence. The Stoics were not advocates for passivity or indifference. Instead, they emphasized the idea that while you can control how much effort you put into something, the ultimate outcome often depends on factors beyond your influence, fate, chance, or circumstances. Gratitude steps in as a reminder to value what you can control: your dedication, your perseverance, your intentions. By anchoring your sense of fulfillment to these internal factors, you release yourself from the emotional turbulence that comes with results you can't dictate. Let's take another example, a job interview. You've done everything you can to prepare. You researched the company, practiced your answers, and showed up ready to give it your best. But in the end, you don't get the position. A mindset focused solely on the outcome might spiral into frustration or self-doubt. I wasn't good enough. But a Stoic mindset, bolstered by gratitude, would see the value in the process itself. You can reflect on the fact that you gave your best effort, that the experience sharpened your skills, and that it prepared you for future opportunities. Gratitude transforms what could have been a defeat into a moment of personal growth and self-respect. This practice, finding value in the process, becomes especially powerful when life feels unpredictable or unfair. It gives you an anchor, a way to stay grounded when things don't go your way, and over time it builds resilience. You stop being tossed around by every twist and turn of fate because your inner sense of peace isn't tied to the external world. Instead, it comes from knowing that you did your part, that you acted with integrity and effort. So think about this in your own life. Are you overly focused on outcomes, tying your happiness to things you can't fully control? What would change if you shifted your focus to the process instead? By practicing gratitude for your effort, you not only free yourself from the fear of failure, but also discover a deeper sense of joy and fulfillment, one that's unshaken by life's unpredictability. This is the essence of Stoic detachment, finding value not in what happens, but in how you approach it. Have you ever paused to consider how deeply connected we all are, not just to the people around us, but to the world as a whole? Every action we take, every decision we make, ripples outward, influencing others in ways we may never fully understand. This idea isn't new. Thousands of years ago, the Stoics embraced a principle called sympatheia, the belief in the fundamental interconnectedness of all things. They saw the universe as one living organism, with each of us as a vital part of this greater whole. And in this view, gratitude takes on a powerful role. It becomes the bridge that deepens our connection to others and to the world around us. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, reflected often on this idea. He wrote, We are all working together to achieve one end, some with knowledge and design, and others without knowing what they do. To the Stoics, life wasn't about standing alone or operating in isolation. Instead, they urged us to recognize that we are all threads in a vast, interconnected tapestry. Every person, every event, every experience is part of the larger story. Gratitude, then, becomes a way of acknowledging this unity, of appreciating not only what we receive but the countless people and forces that make our lives possible. Think about something as simple as your morning coffee. At first glance, it might seem like an individual experience, a small pleasure that you enjoy on your own. But take a closer look. That coffee represents the work of farmers who grew the beans, the workers who harvested and packaged them, the transportation networks that delivered them, the barista who crafted your cup, and even the people who invented the tools and machines that made it all possible. Suddenly, the act of drinking coffee connects you to a vast, global network of effort and collaboration. Gratitude, in this sense, isn't just about saying, "I'm thankful for my coffee." It's about recognizing and appreciating the intricate web of relationships and contributions that brought it to you. This idea applies not just to the things we consume, but to our relationships and experiences as well. Consider a moment of teamwork. Perhaps you're working on a group project, coordinating with others to meet a shared goal. In the heat of the moment, it's easy to focus on your own role or to get frustrated by setbacks or differences in opinion. But when you step back and view this through the lens of sympatheia, you see the beauty in coming together, each person contributing their unique skills and perspectives to create something greater than any one individual could achieve alone. Gratitude in this context means acknowledging the effort and value that each person brings, even when it's not immediately obvious or perfectly aligned with your expectations. Gratitude also reminds us that we're not just connected to other people but to the universe itself. The Stoics believed that every event, no matter how random or challenging it seems, is part of a larger, harmonious order. By practicing gratitude, we align ourselves with this greater whole, finding peace in the understanding that we are not separate from life's unfolding but an integral part of its flow. Instead of seeing ourselves as isolated individuals battling against the world, we come to see ourselves as participants in a vast, interconnected dance, one where every step, no matter how small, has meaning. So what can we take from this in our modern lives? Perhaps it's as simple as pausing to reflect on how much of what we value depends on others. Maybe it's about appreciating the contributions of a colleague, the kindness of a stranger, or even the unseen systems that make your day-to-day life possible. When you practice gratitude from this perspective, it becomes more than just a personal emotion. It becomes an act of connection, a recognition that we are all part of something far greater than ourselves. The next time you feel gratitude, try using it as a moment to reflect on sympatheia. Ask yourself, how is this moment connected to the efforts of others? How does it tie me to the wider world? In doing so, you'll not only deepen your appreciation but also align your perspective with the Stoic understanding of unity and interconnectedness. Gratitude, in its truest form, isn't just about what we receive, it's about recognizing our place within the vast, beautiful network of life itself. Every act of gratitude is a step closer to virtue. For the Stoics, gratitude wasn't just a pleasant social habit or a fleeting emotion. It was a tool, a practice, a way to actively train oneself in the pursuit of a virtuous life. In their philosophy, virtues such as justice, temperance, and wisdom were seen as the highest goals a person could strive for, and gratitude, it served as a practical exercise in cultivating these virtues, shaping both our character and our relationships with others. Let's start with justice. Justice in the Stoic sense is about giving others their due, treating people fairly, and recognizing the interconnected nature of humanity. When we express gratitude, we actively acknowledge the efforts, kindness, or support of those around us. It's a way of saying, "I see what you've done and I value it." This act of recognition promotes fairness because it ensures that the contributions of others are not overlooked or taken for granted. Take, for example, a colleague who helps you meet a tight deadline. Expressing your gratitude acknowledges their effort and shows respect for the time and energy they invested. This simple act reinforces the principle of justice, reminding us that no one's contributions exist in a vacuum. They deserve to be recognized. Gratitude also nurtures humility, a quality integral to justice. When we step back and reflect on the ways others have supported us, we're reminded that we don't succeed alone. Seneca, one of the great Stoic philosophers, captures this beautifully when he says, "He who receives a benefit with gratitude repays the first installment on his debt." This quote speaks to the reciprocal nature of gratitude. It's not a one-sided act but part of an ongoing exchange. By acknowledging that we owe something to others, whether it's their kindness, wisdom, or assistance, we temper our ego and foster a sense of humility. Gratitude teaches us that we are not self-sufficient islands but deeply interconnected with those around us. Now let's consider temperance, the virtue of moderation and self-control. Practicing gratitude helps us shift our focus from what we lack to what we already have. In doing so, it reduces the grip of excessive desires and the endless pursuit of more. When we pause to appreciate the good in our lives, even the small, ordinary blessings, we cultivate a sense of contentment. For example, instead of constantly striving for material possessions, we might feel grateful for the roof over our heads, the food on our plates, or the companionship of loved ones. This gratitude acts as a form of temperance, curbing the impulse to chase things that don't truly bring lasting fulfillment. It trains us to find enoughness in the present moment, teaching us to align our desires with what we already possess. Finally, gratitude offers a pathway to wisdom, the cornerstone of all Stoic virtues. Wisdom is about seeing the world clearly, understanding what is within our control and what is not, and acting in harmony with this understanding. When we practice gratitude, we sharpen our awareness of the good in our lives, no matter the circumstances. We also learn to reflect on the lessons and growth that challenges bring. Gratitude, in this sense, becomes a teacher, encouraging us to engage with life in a way that is thoughtful, reflective, and grounded in reality. For instance, expressing gratitude in difficult times, whether by appreciating the support of others or the resilience we discover within ourselves, helps us gain perspective. It reminds us that even adversity has something to offer, and recognizing this is an act of wisdom. Gratitude might seem like a small, simple act, but its impact is profound. It's a daily practice that allows us to cultivate fairness through justice, moderation through temperance, and clarity through wisdom. Each time we pause to say, "Thank you," whether silently to ourselves or aloud to someone else, we take one more step toward becoming the kind of person the Stoics envisioned: virtuous, thoughtful, and deeply connected to the world around us. So, the next time you feel gratitude, see it not just as a fleeting emotion, but as an opportunity to grow closer to virtue. Ask yourself, how can I use this moment of gratitude to strengthen my sense of fairness, temper my desires, or deepen my understanding? In doing so, you'll find that gratitude isn't just an expression, it's a training ground for a better, more virtuous life. How would your perspective shift if you viewed every moment as temporary? It's a question that can feel unsettling at first. In a culture that often avoids confronting mortality, the idea of life's impermanence can seem heavy, even uncomfortable. But the Stoics, ever pragmatic, saw this truth not as a source of despair but as a reason to embrace life more fully. They understood that recognizing the fleeting nature of existence sharpens our awareness, deepens our appreciation, and allows us to practice gratitude in its purest form. Marcus Aurelius, one of Stoicism's greatest thinkers, wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." This timeless reflection captures the essence of Memento Mori or remember that you must die. Far from being morbid, this practice was central to Stoic philosophy. By regularly meditating on the transience of life, the Stoics aimed to strip away distractions and focus on what truly matters. And at the heart of this practice lies gratitude for the moment we are in, the experiences we've had, and the people we love, all of which are beautifully temporary. Think about how easy it is to take things for granted. A warm conversation with a friend, a walk on a sunny afternoon, a quiet moment to yourself. These are ordinary, everyday experiences that often go unnoticed. But what if you knew this would be your last conversation with that friend, your last sunny walk, or even your last quiet moment? Suddenly, these seemingly mundane moments take on extraordinary significance. By keeping mortality in mind, the Stoics remind us to cherish what exists now and to be fully present in the fleeting moments that make up our lives. Gratitude, in this sense, becomes a way of honoring those moments, however small or ordinary they may seem. This mindset also helps us to release our grip on the things we cannot hold onto forever. The Stoics believed that clinging to what is temporary, whether it's possessions, relationships, or even life itself, leads to unnecessary suffering. Instead, they encouraged an approach of gratitude without attachment. Epictetus said, "Do not kiss your child and say you will never lose them." This doesn't mean we should love less or care less, but rather that we should be mindful of the impermanence of everything we hold dear. Gratitude, then, becomes an act of both love and acceptance. It allows us to fully appreciate what we have without becoming paralyzed by the fear of losing it. Imagine, for example, spending time with someone you deeply care about, maybe a parent, a partner, a child, or a close friend. Instead of letting distractions pull your attention away, Memento Mori encourages you to treat that time as precious, even sacred, because you don't know how many more moments like this you'll get. Gratitude flows naturally from this awareness. You're not focused on what might go wrong in the future or what you wish were different. You're simply present, appreciating this fleeting connection for exactly what it is. The practice of gratitude in the face of mortality can also transform how we approach challenges and setbacks. When we remember how short life is, it becomes easier to let go of grudges, forgive others, and focus on what truly matters. Small annoyances lose their sting, and even larger conflicts seem less significant when viewed through the lens of impermanence. Gratitude allows us to shift our energy toward what enriches life, a kind gesture, a shared laugh, or simply the privilege of being alive in this moment. So, reflect on this. How would your life change if you truly embraced the impermanence of everything? How might practicing gratitude for each moment, no matter how fleeting, bring more depth, more joy, and more meaning to your days? The Stoics teach us that life's brevity is not something to fear but something to revere. When we approach each day with the understanding that nothing lasts forever, gratitude becomes our natural response, helping us cherish life's beauty without clinging to it. And in doing so, we align ourselves with the Stoic wisdom that every moment, no matter how temporary, is a gift worth celebrating. Have you ever stopped to think about the difference between chasing happiness and cultivating joy? It might seem like they're the same thing, but they're worlds apart. Happiness, as many of us experience it, is often tied to something external, a shiny new achievement, a material reward, or the approval of others. It's fleeting, conditional, and always just out of reach, like a finish line that keeps moving. Joy, on the other hand, is something deeper. It's steady, enduring, and rooted within us, unaffected by the ups and downs of the outside world. For the Stoics, joy was never about external pleasures or the constant pursuit of more. Instead, it was about living in harmony with reason and finding contentment through gratitude for what we already have. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic philosophers, reminded us of this truth when he said, "Happiness and freedom begin with a clear understanding of one principle. Some things are within your control and some things are not." This quote speaks right to the heart of Stoic joy. By focusing on what lies within our power, our thoughts, our actions, our ability to choose gratitude, we uncover a happiness that doesn't rely on external circumstances. Gratitude then becomes the key to unlocking this inner joy. It shifts our attention away from what we lack or can't control and anchors the mind in the present, reminding us of the abundance already within our grasp. Let's explore why this is so transformative. When we chase happiness through external pleasures, whether it's a promotion, a new car, or approval from others, we set ourselves up for disappointment. Why? Because external things are unstable. They come and go, often influenced by factors outside our control. The moment we gain something, a new desire takes its place, and the cycle of never-ending pursuit begins again. It's exhausting and leaves us feeling like our sense of happiness is always at the mercy of the next achievement. But when we practice gratitude, we turn inward and reframe the way we see the world. Gratitude teaches us to focus not on what's missing, but on what's already here. And in doing so, it roots us in a state of contentment that doesn't depend on external circumstances. Think about a time when you were truly at peace, not because of something extravagant, but because you felt deeply connected to the moment. Maybe it was a quiet evening with loved ones, a walk in nature, or even just a moment of stillness after a busy day. These experiences remind us that joy doesn't demand grand external victories. It thrives in simplicity, in appreciating what's already present. Gratitude helps us recognize these moments, however small they may seem, and allows us to carry that sense of appreciation forward. The Stoics were deeply aware of how gratitude shapes our perception of life. Instead of seeing challenges or difficulties as obstacles, they viewed them as opportunities for growth and resilience. Practicing gratitude in these moments allows us to find joy not in the absence of hardship, but in our ability to rise above it. For example, when faced with a tough situation, gratitude reminds us to focus on what we can learn, the support systems we have, or even our own capacity to endure. This perspective not only builds inner strength, but also cultivates a joy that's independent of external outcomes. So, how can we bring this idea into our daily lives? Start small. Each day, take a moment to reflect on one thing you're grateful for. Maybe it's as simple as the air you breathe, the food you eat, or the people who bring meaning to your life. As you make this a habit, you'll notice a shift. Instead of constantly striving for more, you'll find yourself more content with what is already enough. Gratitude doesn't just anchor us in the present, it creates a foundation for joy that endures through life's ups and downs. The next time you find yourself chasing happiness, pause and ask, what if joy isn't something I need to chase, but something I can choose? By practicing gratitude, we align ourselves with the Stoic vision of joy, a calm, steady state derived not from what happens to us, but from how we choose to see the world. It's a reminder that true fulfillment isn't found in something external. It's cultivated within, one moment of gratitude at a time. Have you ever found yourself scrolling through social media, feeling like everyone else's life looks so much better than yours? Maybe it's the picture-perfect vacations, the seemingly endless achievements, or the carefully curated snapshots of happiness. It's hard not to compare, isn't it? In modern society, where we're constantly bombarded by images of what others have, it's easy to feel like we're falling short. This relentless focus on comparison and consumption can quietly erode our sense of gratitude. Instead of appreciating what's already in front of us, we're left chasing after what we think we lack. This dynamic isn't limited to social media. Our culture often equates worth with material success, encouraging us to pursue the next big thing, a newer car, a bigger house, the latest gadget. The endless cycle of wanting and acquiring can leave us feeling dissatisfied, no matter how much we achieve or accumulate. Seneca addressed this issue over 2,000 years ago when he wrote, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." His words remind us that endless desire traps us in a mindset of scarcity, always focused on what's missing instead of appreciating what's already abundant in our lives. The Stoics recognized this tendency long before the digital age. They understood that humans are prone to comparison and longing, which often pull us away from contentment. But they didn't just identify the problem, they offered practical solutions. Their wisdom is just as relevant today as it was in ancient times, especially when it comes to cultivating gratitude in a world that constantly urges us to focus on what we don't have. One powerful Stoic practice is journaling, particularly in the form of evening reflection. At the end of the day, the Stoics encourage taking a few moments to review your experiences and ask yourself meaningful questions. What went well today? What did you learn? What moments brought you even small amounts of joy or peace? This practice helps shift your attention away from what's lacking and trains your mind to focus on the positives you may have overlooked. It's a simple but powerful way to nurture gratitude by actively seeking out the good in your life, no matter how small it might seem. Another tool the Stoics used was self-reflection, particularly around the concept of enough. They asked themselves not what they wanted, but what they truly needed. Marcus Aurelius, for example, would remind himself of the basic essentials required for life and reflect on how little is actually necessary for contentment. In our modern lives, we can follow this same approach by asking ourselves whether what we're chasing truly adds value to our lives, or whether it's simply a distraction created by external pressures. Gratitude grows naturally when we recognize that what we already have is enough. Detaching from comparison is another essential Stoic strategy. Epictetus advised, "Don't envy those who seem to be doing better than you." Judge your success by your own standards, not theirs. In today's language, this means limiting the influence of platforms and environments that make you feel inadequate. That might mean taking a break from social media, spending less time in spaces that fuel materialism, or simply reminding yourself that the highlight reels you see online rarely reflect reality. Gratitude thrives when we stop measuring our lives against those of others and start appreciating our own unique journey. Ultimately, the Stoics teach us that gratitude isn't something that magically appears, it's a habit, something we cultivate through daily practice and reflection. And in a world that's constantly pulling us toward comparison and endless consumption, this habit is one of the most powerful ways to find peace. So ask yourself, how can you pause today to appreciate what you already have? Maybe it's by writing down 3 things you're grateful for. Maybe it's by reflecting on the simpler joys in your life, like time with loved ones or the beauty of nature. Whatever it is, let gratitude be your anchor, your reminder that, as Seneca wisely pointed out, the pursuit of more isn't what makes us rich. It's the ability to find contentment in what we already have. Gratitude is a skill that can be practiced and refined. For the Stoics, it wasn't something that occurred only when life was going well or when external circumstances were favorable. Instead, gratitude was a deliberate, conscious practice, a discipline that, when cultivated daily, could help build resilience, peace of mind, and a deeper connection to the present moment. The beauty of Stoic gratitude is that it doesn't depend on life being perfect. It works in both the highs and the lows, grounding us in appreciation regardless of the circumstances. But how do we bring this into our everyday lives? Let's explore 3 practical ways to practice gratitude the Stoic way. The first and perhaps simplest way is to start keeping a gratitude journal. At the end of each day, set aside a few moments to write down 3 things you are grateful for. These can be big or small, external or internal, a supportive conversation with a friend, a good meal, or even the ability to learn from a mistake. The act of writing helps you pause and reflect, encouraging you to actively seek out what went well, even in the most mundane moments. Over time, this practice rewires your mind to notice the good more naturally. And in true Stoic fashion, don't just write about the obvious positives, look for gratitude in challenges too. Did a difficult day at work teach you patience? Did a mistake reveal an opportunity for growth? Gratitude journaling isn't about ignoring difficulties, it's about seeing them through a lens of opportunity and inner strength. The second method is to reflect on challenges with gratitude. The Stoics believed that every obstacle is an opportunity for growth. Marcus Aurelius, for example, famously said, "The impediment to action advances action." What stands in the way becomes the way. In moments of adversity, this mindset can help you shift from frustration to reflection. When something goes wrong, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can this situation make me stronger or wiser? By practicing gratitude for challenges, you train yourself to see life's difficulties not as setbacks, but as essential parts of your journey toward becoming a better, more resilient person. This perspective doesn't make the challenges easier, but it does make them more meaningful. Finally, a powerful way to practice gratitude is by expressing it to others. This step aligns beautifully with the Stoic principle of justice, giving others their due and recognizing their contributions. Take a moment to thank someone in your life, whether it's a loved one, a colleague, or even a stranger. It could be a simple thank you note, a heartfelt message, or an in-person acknowledgement of their efforts. By expressing gratitude outwardly, you not only strengthen your relationships but also reinforce your own practice of appreciation. It's a reminder that none of us achieves anything alone, and gratitude for the people who support us is a vital part of living a fulfilled life. What's important to remember is that these practices don't need to be time-consuming or elaborate. Whether you're writing in a journal, reflecting on a tough moment, or offering a kind word of thanks, the key is consistency. Gratitude, like any skill, becomes easier and more natural the more you engage with it. Even just a few minutes a day can have a profound effect on how you perceive the world and your place within it. Let's close this reflection with the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, who wrote in his Meditations: "When you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to think, to enjoy, to love." This quote serves as a powerful reminder that gratitude is a conscious choice we make, not just when things are going our way, but every single day. By practicing gratitude the Stoic way, we learn to embrace life as it is, finding meaning and appreciation even in its imperfections. When you step back and reflect, it becomes clear that gratitude isn't just a fleeting emotion, it's a practice that can reshape how we experience life. The Stoics understood this long before modern psychology validated its benefits. Gratitude, as they saw it, is more than saying thank you or appreciating life's highlights. It's a tool for resilience in adversity, a grounding force that keeps us present in the moment, and a pathway to deeper joy and contentment. Most importantly, it's central to the pursuit of virtue, the very foundation of Stoic philosophy. By focusing on what we can control, our thoughts, our actions, and the way we frame our experiences, gratitude becomes a source of inner peace. It helps us navigate life's inevitable challenges with more clarity and strength. Instead of being consumed by what we lack or what goes wrong, gratitude guides our attention to what we already have, teaching us to find value in both the ordinary and the extraordinary. Through this lens, every moment, even the difficult ones, carries an opportunity for growth, reflection, and appreciation. Gratitude also anchors us in the present. In a world where it's so easy to get lost in past regrets or future anxieties, Gratitude serves as a gentle reminder to return to the here and now. Whether it's savoring a small moment of quiet, appreciating the support of a loved one, or finding purpose in a challenge, gratitude pulls us into the richness of the present moment. And it's in this presence that true joy resides, not in fleeting pleasures or external achievements, but in the steady appreciation of life as it unfolds. Ultimately, gratitude aligns us with the Stoic ideal of living a virtuous life. It fosters justice by recognizing the contributions of others, temperance by shifting our focus from what we want to what we have, and wisdom by helping us see the deeper lessons in life's experiences. Through gratitude, we cultivate a mindset of acceptance and grace, one that leads to a more peaceful and fulfilling existence. So ask yourself, what would change if you approached life with more gratitude? How might it transform the way you handle challenges, the way you connect with others, and the way you view yourself? The Stoics remind us that gratitude isn't just a practice for good days, it's a practice for all days. A way to find purpose and peace no matter what life brings. As we close, consider these words from Seneca. True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future. Let this serve as a reminder that gratitude is the key to breaking free from the endless cycle of wanting and worrying. It teaches us to find happiness in the present, to see the gifts already around us, and to live fully in each moment. If this resonates with you, take the first step today. Reflect on one thing you're grateful for, write it down or share it with someone close to you. Start small and see where this practice takes you. Gratitude has the power to transform not just your mindset, but your entire approach to life. Thank you for watching, and may this Stoic wisdom inspire you to live with gratitude and grace every day.